The second pick will be made by the San Antonio Spurs, and that means that the #1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
Plant the flag, Mavs fans, because by all accounts, Duke phenom Cooper Flagg is coming to town. The Dallas Mavericks, for the first time in franchise history, win the NBA draft lottery and will presumably take Duke freshman phenom Cooper Flagg in next month's NBA draft. We're talking all about that tonight on Free Throw. It starts right now. Hey, you guys, welcome to the show. Sam Gaten alongside Mike Ducey, and joining us live here in studio on a very, very short notice, Mavs broadcaster Brian Dameris. Brian, welcome. A 1.8% chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Here's how crazy it was. The Mavericks were the only team in NBA history coming into this lottery that never moved up even one spot in the draft. They'd either stayed the same or gone down every single time. They were the only team. And San Antonio, who they were up against for that last spot, in I think 10 lotteries or something around there, had gotten the #1 pick 3 times, including just a couple of years ago with Victor Wembanyama. So needless to say, I was screaming like a teenage girl in my house when that went down, and it changes everything.
Yeah, we want to get into all aspects of this thing with you. Yeah, we were in disbelief in the sports office as it was happening earlier as well, and I'm sure Mavs fans all over the place were, as you put it, screaming like teenage girls. Let's get into the player himself here, whom the Mavs will, I'm still going to say presumably, pick with that #1 overall pick. Duke phenom Cooper Flagg, 6'9", just 18 years old, doesn't turn 19 until December 21st. This news comes just a little over 3 months, of course, since Nico Harrison and the Mavericks decided to trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Flagg's a young guy who's elite on both ends of the floor, unanimous first-team All-America last season. 19 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists, block and a half, a steal and a half a game, 48% from the floor, 38.5% from downtown. Led the Blue Devils to a 35-4 record. Final 4 appearance where they fell to Houston. Flagg swept all the national awards, the Wooden Award, Naismith Award, AP National Player of the Year honors. Here's Flagg moments after learning that the Mavs had won the lottery, and the young guy sounds as surprised as everybody else.
Yeah, I didn't try and think about it too much. I feel like it was just kind of out of my control. So I'm just kind of going through the process like everybody else and just trying to enjoy every single moment because we only get to do this once. Well, for us, it's been a rough year, as you all know. But the important part of the whole thing is that we'll get a chance to move our franchise forward. We have a tremendous staff and management, and the important factor for us is to being able to continue in that tradition and to be able to move forward. It's really a great honor, and it's an important piece of the puzzle because we want to hoop down in Dallas.
The second pick will be made by the San Antonio Spurs. That means that the #1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
Brian, that was the Mavs Brain Trust as they watched the lottery at a local Chicago restaurant. You can see here Mavs general manager Nico Harrison. A bit of an extra pep in his step these days. They're understandably thrilled as the Mavs overcome long odds, pretty much all odds, to literally win the lottery and #1 overall pick in this draft.
Mark Cuban through email telling Fox 4, it's unreal. I'm still shaking. First time we have ever moved up. I was screaming the whole time with my son.
Brian, we've got a social media reaction aplenty. Patrick Mahomes, big fan of the Mavs, saying, oh my gosh, let's go. PJ Washington, current member of the Mavs, with the eyeball emojis. Mike Madonna, the Stars legend, flag for Luka, straight up. The Dallas Wings chiming in, #1 pick party in Dallas.
That's right, two #1s.
And Kevin Love saying there's no effing way, his former teammate LeBron James with the crying, laughing emojis. And Mina Kimes of ESPN saying being a Mavs fan right now has to be insane. Like you're 99% happy, but 1% mad that they're getting away with it.
No, you're not, Mina.
So, Brian, draft is June 25th in Brooklyn. As you said, the Mavs have a prime opportunity here to take the #1 overall selection. No way they're trading that pick, right? Got to get that out of the way.
generational player along the lines of, frankly, Luka when he was coming out, LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama. Those are the names that you're seeing bandied about. Like you said earlier, he turns 18 4 days before Christmas, turned 19 4 days before Christmas. Right. He should have just finished his senior year in high school. 4th person ever to be National Player of the Year as a freshman. All those stats you rattled off: 19, 7, and 4, a block and a half, a steal and a half, 39% from deep. Humongous basketball IQ. I went to SMU and saw that game there in person. There's really nothing he can't do. He can handle the ball. An absolute stopper 1 through 5 when you're switching defensively. Can do help defense as well. Just really can do everything. Can create his own shot, and he's only going to continue to get better. This is a guy that's a gym rat. There were people who worked with him at 14 years old that said he was the best 14-year-old they've ever seen, and these were people that played in the league. He played against Team USA last year in Vegas, and they were just like floored by what he was able to do. I mean, this changes everything for the next 17 to 20 years for this franchise.
Well, we've thought that about other players, too. So let's tap the brakes. 17 to 20 years. And not to harp on this, but, you know, and social media drives it, but you're hearing Giannis talk out there. You're hearing, man, if you could package this with something else and get Giannis, who's presumably on his way out of Milwaukee, wouldn't that make some sense? You're saying there's no possibility something like that happens?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I think this is the kind of player that is going to be the best player on a franchise that wins a title at some point in his career. And just his learning curve is just a hockey stick going up. Giannis is 30 years old. He'll be able to play until he's 40. I think he's that good. He keeps himself obviously in tremendous shape, and he's a great piece to have. And I think maybe he was a player that before this, the Mavs with 3 number 1s and, you know, a stable of quality players could have made a run for him. But now, you know, that's just not something that I think I would do, because then you're saying, okay, we have a 3-year window, and after that, then it's Giannis with what? Well, that's what Milwaukee's doing, and then you got to turn around and do it. This is something, and the key part of this, you got him under control now, salary-wise, for 4 years. You can play him now with AD, Kyrie, Lively, and you've got a really good roster. You just slot him into 3 from day one. You can win now, and you can win later with him.
Brian, obviously it was a terrible year for the franchise with the Luka trade. Does this give Nico a chance to even redeem himself? I don't even know that those are the right words, because it was luck that they won this draft lottery, although we do have pretty much every fan saying the league is rigged after what happened tonight. Is there any chance he can get the fans back on the right side of things?
Yeah, I think so. You know, this is a ray of light in the darkness. Rose said it, you know, really well afterwards with SiriusXM Radio. I heard an interview he did where, you know, it's just, there's been a lot of bad juju, bad vibes around here, and this kind of turns that the other way. Still a lot of work to do. It changes how you look at the summer. I think maybe Giannis would have been something they would have tried to swing at this summer. And now you look at, okay, who's your 2 going forward? You got Clay right now, and that's great, but now you can really look at what you want to do with other pieces to kind of solidify that roster, knowing you've got that piece under good salary control, and it really changes all the dynamics of what you're doing.
Yeah, and Flagg is the rare player, isn't he, at that age, who, again, you think, and you never know until you see a guy at the highest level consistently, but he's the rare talent who presumably can step in and fit right away with a bunch of veterans and make it potentially good team even better.
I think he can score 20 points a game in his freshman year. I mean, his rookie year. And, you know, because, again, you saw Derek Lively was a player who never had a double-double in college. Duke is more of a system-type situation there where they don't really kind of, you know, look at one player to really go score 30 points or more. He's got a lot more in him. His growth is just off the charts. Again, that brain, what he's able to, how he's able to see the court, his passing, his ability to close and finish, that 1 through 5 switching ability defensively. I think everybody's going to fall in love with him, and that's going to be a lot of what's going to bring those fans back as well.
When you look at the potential starting lineup, Brian, providing this team is healthy, just how lethal of a lineup can this be when you enter in Cooper Flagg?
Well, defense wins championships. I don't know if you've heard that.
I heard that somewhere, yeah.
But defensively, this is a long, huge-sized team. I wrote a pretty brilliant article in D Magazine last week. I'm sure you read it, about kind of the blueprint of what goes on. But a lot of what Nico said, and I think where the league is going, versatility. He has that on both sides of the ball, and size. So now you've got AD, Lively, Flagg as your front court. Really, that's a lot of size, a lot of length. Then you've got PJ Washington. You've got Najee Marshall. You got players like that can come in off the bench and continue to provide size. He's a point forward. He can bring that as well on that end. So, in terms of where the league is going, he's got that. He's got that distance, a 39% from three. That's only going to get better. Again, 18 years old. He should have been a senior in high school. Yeah,
it's phenomenal. We had the Mark Cuban quote earlier, and Brad Townsend, the Morning News, had information saying that it was Cuban who actually called Patrick Dumont and informed him that this had happened. Dumont was at one of his children's sporting events, and that according to Brad, he wasn't sure if Dumont was able to understand it because Cuban was screaming so incoherently. Can you imagine? And you hate to look at anybody else's mind or heart, but the mixed emotions that Mark must have tonight as he's excited for this franchise, but in a different way than he would have been a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I think there's always something of, gosh, I wish I was still kind of running the show and all of that. But I've talked to him tonight as well, and he is absolutely stoked. He wants the Mavs to, we were talking about, how we wish we were still in it. I wish I was still calling games. He wished he was still baseline watching playoff games, and especially in a season where the West is wide open, I think, in my opinion, where you're seeing, Oklahoma City be a little vulnerable, and obviously the Lakers went out, and players like Houston, number 2 seeds out. You think you could have made a run, but, none of this happens without Mark, and I understand the whole rigged question.
Well, and it is, the rigged thing is out there.
Yeah.
And if another team had a 1.8% chance to win the lottery and had won it tonight, that would be even more of the talk here in Dallas.
Well, it's funny, as I was watching it, they cut to commercial before they did the Final Four.
Yeah.
And right out of break, what did this ESPN show? But the Knicks from 1980, the cold envelope.
The Ewing draft.
Like, why would you do that to feed that? And then, of course, it's what happens. So obviously, if San Antonio had gotten the pick, then it's rigged again, because they always seem to get the number 1 pick. Or Philly, who, everybody got hurt, they should get it. Because, look, the teams that had a 15% chance, which was the highest you could get, Utah, Charlotte, and, somebody else who didn't win. Bob, Utah was 5th.
Yeah. 30 seconds to go. Who's going to win the NBA championship this year, the topsy-turvy playoffs?
I think Oklahoma City climbed out of their troubles, and that win Sunday got them that series. I think they take care of Minnesota, and, coming out. New York's really tough. I just don't know if they're in a long series that they can compete, but I think New York is who they play, because I think both Boston and Cleveland are going down.
Yeah, Tatum got hurt tonight and didn't look good, that's for sure. Brian Dameris, on, again, short notice. Thanks for coming in and providing your valuable perspective on this big night for the Mavs.
That's right, Brian.
Now back to some Cowboys.
NFL